SEO is dead, or maybe it's not. But it doesn't matter because user behavior has changed significantly with AI. If you think about the last time that you searched something in Google and actually clicked through on the blue links, it's been a long time, at least for me. I will go to ChatGPT, maybe Perplexity or Gemini, and get the answer given to me specific to what I'm looking for. If you are a brand or content marketer relying on organic traffic, your job has changed tremendously with AI. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how you change your keyword research approach and the type of content that you're actually creating so that you no longer need to rely on organic traffic. Many brands are seeing organic traffic drop, but you are still appearing in the AI citations. So let's start with a quick example. Let's just say, for example, we're looking for the best AI CRM. And traditionally, of course, you would see the Google, you'd see the sponsored links. Now you see the AI overview. You can show more, or you can see the actual search results page. Now let's see the AI overview, and then let's dig in more. There's this AI mode where Google will use its Gemini large language model to answer the question more specifically. So we can dive in here. And what's interesting here is if you're looking at this quickly, you'll see that there are many sites and many sub queries, many questions that are asked related to best CRM. So that is a high level question. But within that, there are other questions, sub queries. It's called Google's fan out technique, where the AI is asking multiple questions, consolidating that into this answer that we're seeing here. Like, for example, it is based on category or type of use case, sales team or marketing team. So if we take a look at Google's AI mode, you'll see that there's one question. So this is kind of like the search term that you would traditionally create content for before AI, which it would be best AI CRM. But Google's fan out technique actually takes this one query, best AI CRM, and does a fan out technique, which means it's taking multiple queries, multiple questions or phrases, combining that, doing research, and then consolidating that into the answer that we're seeing here. So best AI CRM, for example, is actually, the subquery might be best AI CRM by category, or for sales teams, or based on use case. So there are different ways, and where this impacts you as a content marketer is that you need to create content for that long tail query that is no longer about having the best, longest version of a topic, AI CRM, but you want to answer for a very specific search query. So if we're talking about how to bridge the gap between keyword research and creating content in this new AEO, answer engine optimization world, we're now focusing on jobs to be done. And so it's no longer just a keyword per se, but we are focusing on the specific task at hand. So what's interesting is that there are multiple different frameworks that you can use in order to answer this effectively. So think about user behavior. People are spending a lot of time in the AI. Then when they're landing on the site, they are far more informed, educated, and ready to purchase. And an interesting stat from SEMrush did a study earlier this year on millions of search queries. And what they found is that the average LLM visitor is worth 4.4 times the average organic search visitor. And it's for that exact reason, because they are more well-informed. They've done their research relying on AI, and now they are ready to purchase. So if we're reframing how we're doing our keyword research, we're no longer necessarily going to be creating content for a specific search query, but it's more at a broad level what the mindset of the consumer is, what the job to be done or the task that they're focusing on. And at a high level, it could be based on the decision. So this is very bottom of funnel, X versus Y, best of, or alternatives. Implementation, like these are questions, informational based questions, how to set up or a step-by-step plan. Diagnostic, to understand something better, errors or why something is not working. I do this all the time with ChatGPT, and it's super helpful. This is governance or risk. This is maybe more important at an enterprise level of compliance or security. Cost, especially now with ChatGPT being web enabled, it's great to get a cost and it can actually do the calculations and help with ROI. And then also just standard templates and examples. So these are ways that people are using AI, and therefore ways that you might want to create content specific for these use cases. So back to our example of if we are AI CRM, how we can create content within these clusters. So we are want to think about instead of just best AI CRM, think about it as a task of clusters or a cluster of tasks that we will create content for. And within each cluster, there are going to be several more specific subqueries. Like, for example, if it were the decision cluster, what is the best AI CRM for B2B SaaS at a certain size? Or for implementation, how to roll out a 90-day HubSpot AI CRM. And here you're getting very specific and granular. Or if you are helping people at the top of the funnel or troubleshooting, why is the AI CRM lead scoring not working? So this is really helpful so that you can actually take a keyword, if you are trying to focus on the best AI CRM or whatever your keyword is, and actually break that down within this framework of these 5 different tasks to be done: decision, implementation, diagnostic, governance, and risk. And actually templates and examples, so there's 6. The next thing to consider is to add constraints to both the inputs when you're creating the content and then the outputs, or what the actual content looks like. AI answers improve when the answer is constrained or when the question is constrained. So that's where it's really helpful if you have a deep foundational understanding of who your target ICP is, who you're creating the content for, and then create it very specifically for that person. That's because the LLMs are also contextual. So ChatGPT has memory, Claude Gemini has memory. So they are pulling from the historical memory of maybe knowing that you are a B2B SaaS company with 11 to 50 employees. That will help tailor the answer. And if you're providing that in the content itself, you will get a higher likelihood of citations. And so here are some examples of the constraints that you could add. So who you're targeting. So founder, CMO, IT, the type of company, whether it's bootstrapped or raised a Series B, the context. So now that you've put the effort in creating the content, you want to make sure that you give yourself the best chance of being pulled in to this answer engine. So there are some best practices here where you might want to make things as scannable and usable, quotable as possible. Like, for example, you're going to have a TLDR at the top of the page. Make it very simple for the LLM bot to understand what the page is about. Add numbered steps or comparison pages or comparison tables. Include artifacts like JSON. So what that means is JSON LD, JSON linked data. Like, for example, if you are having an FAQ or an about, or you can have the date or who is writing the piece. These are all things that you can include in the metadata in the JSON to make it more easy for the LLM bot to understand. So structured data is super helpful, and then the freshness for last updated timestamp. And this is all coming from a piece that I did in AirOps. AirOps is a leading content AI content tool to scale content while maintaining the authenticity and the brand voice. Fantastic tool, and leading the the bleeding edge of answer engine optimization and using AI and automation to understand what the next step is in terms of creating content. So a lot of research and best practices in this post here, but those are helpful to understand how to create a piece of content that is most likely to be pulled in. So at a high level, summarizing the process of you've done your keyword research. The keyword research is not for nothing. You've done it, and it is ideally tailored to different stages in the funnel: top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, as well as stuff that is data driven. Your ICP is actually searching these queries and driving and actually clicking through and landing on your site. So once you have your seed keyword, you have the bucket of keywords, the diagnostic, ROI, templates, etc. You're going to create content specific for each persona and format. So one keyword actually, as it does, fan out into those 5 or 6 clusters, and each of those 5 or 6 clusters has sub-queries, very specific keywords. Now, each cluster also, you could have one where you're targeting CIOs or CTOs. So it's not that just this one keyword of best AI CRM would be for, you could do it for SDRs, so entry level, or CROs, so chief revenue officers, high level, where the questions, the content might be at a different level, and you're creating content specifically and different for each of those ICPs. Then you're going to go through and knock out these best practices of the TLDR, the tables, the steps, the examples, your EAT. is your experience, your expertise, your authority, and your trust. And for example, here in this AirOps post, you can see that there is a TLDR. We put a lot of images linked to AirOps related content. So that's the internal links, as well as the H2s also are meant to mimic what somebody would be looking for, or to make it clear of what that section of the post is about. For example, how AEO differs from traditional SEO. So why does this work? So again, things are changing significantly with SEO, where AI will be providing the answers. How can you increase your likelihood or the odds of you being pulled in and being the cited source for that AI? Well, you can do it by providing structured, fresh, and authoritative content, because that is what these LLMs rely on, and clear, extractable, evidence-based pages. So to the extent possible, include proprietary data or research, link to high domain authority sites, and then ideally you are structuring this, but in a way that is readable. So you're going to be taking your search terms, breaking it down, and then ideally providing a valuable resource and answer to both the actual human reader, but also the large language model bots. So that's it at a high level. If you want to learn more about how you can create great content with AI and automation, make sure to click the link here to watch my video covering that. If you need help and I can jump on a call to help walk you through the process of doing this, make sure to click the link below and we can jump on a call. Thanks so much. See you next time.